My name is Courtney-Jai and I have lived on this earth for around 25 years, and for about 11 of those I've realised that I am bisexual. Now for some people this is an easy epiphany, you wake up one day, you're bisexual, that's perfectly okay, you accept it and you move on with your life. But for the many, like me, there is a long journey ahead of you where you don't understand who you are, what you are, or why you are feeling the way you're feeling. And last week I spoke about how I knew I was bisexual, and this week I've decided to talk about are you bisexual? Just before I start, and this isn't, you know, advertising or anything, but don't you think the cat on this whiteboard is awesome? Senor Devil Kitty is here to help you with your sexuality. That's stupid, that's stupidness. Let's talk about bisexuality. I've spoke in the past on my channel about how I think bisexuality comes in stages. For some, it's as simple as 2 stages of waking up, realising you're bisexual and embracing it. But for some, it is very different. For me, I feel like it was 5 stages, and they are observation, denial, realisation, acceptance, and embracing. And what I mean by this is that when I was going through a denial phase, I completely blocked off how I felt about this thing about bisexuality. In fact, I was so against it, I hated it. I was using a lot of slurs to do with homophobia because I didn't want to accept that part of me was that. And I feel like a lot of people fill that category themselves. Where observation and realisation comes into it is that you see things and then you start realising that you're having feelings for those things. And the final 2 are pretty self-explanatory through acceptance and embracing. That's actually where I am today. I have accepted that I am bisexual and I am talking about it like it is something that's nonchalant. I am talking about it like it is all roses and sunflowers. And that's kind of where I want to get you to by the end of whatever video you're watching on my channel. But firstly, you've got to know if you are actually bisexual, because a lot of people mislabel themselves. There's a lot of people out there who will call themselves bisexual when they're actually pansexual. There's a lot of people who just have a bi experience and start calling themselves bisexual when they have no plans to ever experience that experience again. The reasoning behind this video is I get a lot of kids reaching out to me and they're always asking, how am I bisexual? Does this make me bisexual? And a lot of them deep down already know that they're bisexual. They just don't know how to feel about these feelings. And sometimes having somebody who has already gone through those feelings explain how they felt about them helps them out a little bit better. The only way I can talk about this is from my own experience and try and relay it onto your experiences. So you may feel that you are an outcast, that you don't quite fit into any social group, let's say when you're at school or at work, because you always feel like there's something about you what you're trying to hide. And that is how I felt for a long time. I always felt like I was wearing a mask in public because I never felt like I was my true self. As I stated before, I always kind of overreacted to when people called me gay, or I used gay as a slur a lot because I had had a gay experience and I didn't want anybody realizing it, so I felt like I could overcompensate for that by kind of being anti-gay. Obviously the problem with that is the more you do that, the more you start to hate your own self, because you deep down know your feelings and how you want to live your life, but you're kind of trying to push it into the corner, and that is a surefire recipe to being in denial and then being in depression. Back to the whiteboard. Please don't butcher me if these are spelled wrong. I am terrible with spelling. But we have sadness here and we have denial here. As you get into more denial, you get into a higher level of sadness. This doesn't plateau, this just keeps going on and on and on until you decide that you don't want to be sad anymore. And then the denial starts coming down because you realise your sadness and your denial are completely linked. And eventually you come out and you go straight out of denial from sadness to happiness because you finally realise you can start living yourself as you. Sorry, kitty. So when it actually all comes down to it, it's really you who decides if you are bisexual, and only you are going to truly know if you're bisexual. It's whether you want the denial to come in or you want the embracement to come in. One little thing that I would like to add is that just because you have an experience doesn't mean you have to label yourself as that, because different people that we meet in our lives will give us different experiences, and different experiences mold us into different people. If I have a one night stand with a guy which I really enjoyed, that might change my whole perspective on how I feel about my sexuality. Same as if I got into a long-term relationship. A good example of this is that you might not like one type of music. And then all of a sudden you hear an artist from that type of music which you actually start to like, which gives you a greater appreciation for the other artists and other songs in that medium. And that's how sexuality can work sometimes, is that you may not feel that you are gay or bi or open to any of these things until you meet the right person and have the right experience. But in a complete U-turn, you might just wake up one day and realize that you are bisexual and you're fully embracing it, and that is perfectly okay. You don't have to have an experience with anybody to feel the way you do, because deep down you know who makes you happy and what makes you happy, so you should always aim to do what makes you happy. Anyway guys, that's all I wanted to say in this video. I hope you did enjoy it, and if you want to watch more of my videos, you can do. I'll put a playlist at the end of the video. You can also follow me on any of my social media if you have any questions. I prefer Instagram, we can have a lot of chat, that's where I get to know most of you guys. And I'm gonna say love, peace and chicken grease. I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.